Hello everyone, my name is Jyoti and I'm going to be leading you through a yoga practice with the support of a chair. There are a few supplies that you will need for this practice, obviously a chair, and the best kind of chair is one without any arms, and preferably one with a flat seat. So a basic folding chair is a good idea, or any chair that will support you sitting upright and also give you free range of motion with your arms. I also recommend you have a blanket that you can fold, which might be good under the feet or sometimes under the bottom for different parts of our practice. So see if you can find a blanket. And the other thing that can be really useful is a strap. And if you don't have a yoga strap per se, you can use a sash, perhaps a tie from a robe, or a man's tie will work fine as well. And you may want to take your strap or your tie and put it on the back of your chair so it's available to you to grab whenever you need it. So if you need to take a moment to pause the video and go gather those supplies, this would be a good time to do that. Okay, and the other thing that I wanted to say before we get started is that this is your practice. So I want to invite each and every one of you to take good care of your own body. And we all come to this practice with our own unique constellation of strengths and challenges in our physical bodies. So only do what feels appropriate for you and what feels joyful in your body. I also want to say that this is absolutely real yoga, even though we're using a chair. It's no less yoga than the kind of yoga that people do on a mat. Because yoga is not about being able to put your foot behind your head or being able to twist yourself up like a pretzel or doing downward dog really fast over and over again on a mat. All those things are aspects of yoga practice and they're wonderful, but they're not the essence of what yoga is. The essence of yoga is a series of activities through movement, through breath, and through attention that increase our sense of aliveness. So it's really about increasing and balancing the flow of life energy within us. And in the yoga tradition, we refer to that essential life force or life energy as prana. Prana is the same thing that the Chinese call qi and the Japanese call ki. And that is what we're trying to increase, as well as increasing our flexibility and our strength. So let's begin coming into our steady and comfortable yogic seat. And here's where a blanket might be useful. You can fold your blanket and put it under your feet if you have short legs like me, just to bring the knees up to hip height. Or if you're tall and you have long legs, then you may want to place your blanket on your seat, which will bring your hips a little bit higher so that your knees won't be sticking up above the line of your hips. So do what you need to do to get comfortable in your chair. And the first way that we increase the life force within us is to find a long and lifted spine. So you want to stack your shoulders over your hips and elongate and lengthen up through your whole spinal column. Energetically, maybe visualizing your tailbone rooting down into the earth, maybe sending a taproot all the way down through your chair into the earth so that you feel grounded and rooted and supported. And at the same time, once you find that grounding, lengthening up through your spine, lifting the lower ribs away from the pelvic bowl and lengthening all the way up through the crown of the head as if there's a string suspending you from the heavens. That way you're grounded and connected to the earth and also connected to the expansiveness of the sky. In your own heart center, that meeting place between earth and sky. And the reason it's so important to invite in this long spine is because through the central channel of your spine, according to the yoga tradition, there is a subtle nerve known as the Sushumna. And the Sushumna is the central channel. It's like the main highway through which that prana, that life energy, flows. So in order to unblock it and allow it to flow freely, you want to find that long and lifted spine. And then take the shoulders and roll them back and down and draw the wingtips of the shoulder blades toward one another, toward the spine, so you feel your heart spreading wide open. So we begin our practice with a sense of openness and receptivity. You can even turn your palms up on your thighs so that you come into that gesture, that posture of being open and receptive. And then take a long, slow, deep breath in, filling all the way up into the top of the lungs, all the way up into the chest, surrounding your heart with breath. In through the nose, pause at the top, hold, feel that fullness. Maybe you can even sip in a little bit more breath. You might be surprised at how much room you have for a deep breath. And exhale with a sigh. See if you can soften the shoulders a little bit more. Let the tops of the shoulders melt away from the ears. And again, deep breath in, filling all the way up. Pause at the top. Enjoy that moment of fullness. Feel all that life energy streaming into every cell. And exhale, let it go. And let that exhale be a letting go of anything that doesn't need to be here right now. Perhaps any distraction in the mind or heaviness in the heart. Anything that you want to invite a release and let go of. And again, this time take another breath in, but this time let's draw the shoulders up toward the ears. Really tight. Clench your fist, get your arms really tight, scrunch up your face, close your eyes and get your face really scrunched up. Sip in a little bit more breath. Draw those shoulders up, scrunch, 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 hold, hold, hold. And let it all go with a sigh. And perhaps you can feel that flood of energy in the shoulders and arms. Let's do that one more time. Lift the shoulders, scrunch up the face. You can make yourself get as ugly as you want in your face because nobody can see you because we all have our eyes closed and we can't see you on the video anyway. So tight, 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 and let it all go. Just feel all that warmth, perhaps tingling. And just notice what's changed just from those few deep breaths and the tightening and letting go. And now I invite you to take another long, slow, deep breath. This time we'll let the breath lift the arms, reach out to the horizons, turn the palms up, reach the hands to the sky, reach through the right, reach through the left, and exhale, sweep wide and down like you're trying to brush the edges of the universe. Inhale, lift wide and up, like you're saying a gesture of a yes with your arms. Exhale, float them down. In and out through the nose, big deep breaths, filling all the way up into the chest. And as you exhale, releasing, emptying all the way down to the belly and drawing the navel in toward the spine to completely release all the breath. Breathing in, lifting up, breathing out. And we're just taking this time to sync up the movement and the breath and the attention so that it all flows together as one stream. That's a very important part of yoga, that synchronization of breath, movement, and awareness. Filling and emptying completely. And on the next in-breath, bring the hands together. The palms join overhead. And on the exhale, draw the hands down the center line of the body, right to the center of the chest, right to the heart center. And as the palms rest in prayer, right at the center of the chest, let your eyes close and take a moment to set an intention for your practice today. Maybe there's a quality that you would like to invite in, whether it's presence, alertness, peace, a sense of joy, a sense of calm, whatever it is. Perhaps distill that down in your own mind to one word. And in the yoga tradition, we begin and end our practice with the mantra Om. So those of you who wish to seal your intention, kind of send it out into the universe. Those of you who wish to can take a deep breath and exhale together with the sound of Om. The eyes open with a soft gaze. Bring your hands down to your lap, and we'll begin with just rolling the shoulders, bringing some range of motion to your shoulders. Big wide circles, rolling them one way. We carry so much tension in the shoulder area. Sometimes it feels like we've got the weight of the world on our shoulders, and we literally walk around like this, as if we're holding that weight of the world on our shoulders. Try holding the other way as well. See how that feels. Full range of motion, and every time you release those shoulders, maybe letting go of another mental, emotional burden that you've been carrying around, whatever it is. And maybe you want to take the shoulders rolling separately, one direction, and then the other. Using those deep breaths, every exhale is another opportunity to let go of something that isn't serving you right now in the mind, the body, the heart. And then keeping the hands on the thighs or just in front of you on the knees, let's take some seated cat-cow spinal waves. Rock forward on your sitting bones and draw the heart forward, shoulders down and back, look up. Arch the back so the heart leads and spreads wide. Exhale. Rock back to the back end of your sitting bones. Pull the navel in and let the chin drop to the chest. Pull the shoulders forward so that you spread wide through the shoulder blades behind the heart. And then rocking forward and back, synchronizing your breath with your movement. Breathing in and out through the nose. Big breath in, arching back. Exhale, folding forward. And you can imagine that your sitting bones are like the blades of a rocking chair. So you're rocking forward on the rocking chair and then rolling back. And finding the extension and flexion of the spine, back bends and forward bends. These are two of the essential movements of the spine that's important to do every day. Finding your range of motion with back bends and forward bends. One more round. Forward, opening the heart. Exhale, rocking back, chin to chest, and come back to center. Let the shoulders again stack over the hips. And now we'll take some side bends, two other essential movements of the spine. And I'll be mirroring you right and left. So let your right hand rise to the sky, lifting through the fingertips. And you can bring your left hand just to support yourself on the bottom of your chair. First, find some length and space all through that right side of the body, as if you can smile those ribs open. And exhale then into a side bend, keeping both sitting bones rooted down. Reach long through those fingertips. See if you can keep the arm straight rather than bending your elbow, and draw your shoulder a little bit away from your ear so we're not scrunching the shoulder up to the ear. Reach a little bit longer through those fingertips. Bend over to the side a little bit more. Big breath in and exhale. Release. Now take a moment to notice the difference between the side you just stretched and the other side. If you're feeling more life energy in there, more tingling, more warmth, that is prana. That is life energy. Let's try the other side. Lift and lengthen, reach up through your fingertips. You can support yourself with your other hand on the bottom of your chair. First, find all that lengthened space through the left side of your body, and then exhale into your side bend. Lengthening on your in-breath, exhaling deeper into the side bend. One more, reach long. Smile open those ribs, fan them open with your breath, and exhale, release. One more time each side. Lift and lengthen, lift up, exhale, side bend. Inhale, lift up, and float that arm down. Other side, arm rises, reach long, and take it into your side bend. Exhale. Inhale, lift up, and float the hands down. Just notice what you've invited in. Notice the life force that's increasing in you just from simple movement and breathing. We'll take it into a side bend. Arms reach and rise. Reach right and left fingers to the sky. And exhale to your right, bringing your left hand onto the outside of your right knee. You can bring the back of your hand to the chair or just to the space behind you, the back of the chair, and exhale into the twist. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, other side. We're going to flow side to side, just synchronizing movements and breathing and attention, letting the breath move the body. So you don't need to come into your deepest twist here. We're just really warming up the spine in all the different beautiful ways that it can move. Into twists, spinal rotation, and side bends, forward bends, and back bends. If you do nothing else in your yoga practice every day, just these 6 movements of the spine are so beneficial. And hands come up to center, palms come together, and exhale back to your prayer position, back to the heart. And every time we bring the hands back into this prayer mudra, or hand position, it's an opportunity to touch back into that intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. Take a deep breath in, fill all the way up into the chest, and release. Now interlace your fingers behind you. So you're going to interlace your fingers like this, but behind you. You want to come forward. When we sit in the chair, you want to be sitting as forward in the chair as possible. So if you're all the way back in the chair, that sometimes invites a slouching of the spine. So if you sit to the front edge of your chair so that your sitting bones are as far forward as they can go without falling off, then that is going to allow your back muscles to strengthen, and that will help you support that long and lifted spine without going into that slouch asana. So long and lifted spine, and that way it gives you a little bit more room to come into this yoga mudra. Now here's where your strap might be useful. If you find that interlacing your fingers means that you have to keep your elbows bent, then use your strap and give yourself a little room between the hands, maybe 6 or 8 inches, so you can straighten your arms. So if you need to use your strap, you can grab that, squeeze the palms together, squeeze the shoulder blades together, spread wide open in the heart. This is also another movement that I can't emphasize enough, how important this one is to do every day, because we carry so much tension in the center of our chest, in our heart. So much armoring around the heart, physically, emotionally, on many, many levels. So take a few deep breaths in and out of the center of your chest. And if you can lift your hands a little bit up away from your low back, straighten the arms, spread wide, breathe in and out of that heart center. There's a beautiful poem by the great Sufi poet Jalaluddin Rumi, who said, "Open up the window in the center of your chest and let the spirits fly in and out." So take one more deep breath here. And on the exhale, if it's available to you, you can fold forward, letting your belly rest on your thighs, letting the hands reach as high as you can comfortably go, letting the head hang down if that feels okay for you, reaching the fingertips toward the sky, or this clasp hands toward the sky, and then releasing your hands, press into your thighs, slowly press yourself up. And come back to center. Feel all that energy you've invited into the arms and shoulders. One more arm exercise. Arms reach and rise, reach through the right fingertips, reach through the left fingertips, and on the exhale, cross your elbows, bring your right elbow underneath your left. Elbows and palms turned up. Then bend your elbows so the backs of the hands face one another and the thumbs face towards you. We're going to come into the eagle arms. For many of you, this might be as far as you can go. If you can wrap your right wrist, your right hand, which is now on your left side, inside the other hand so that the fingertips press the palm. That was the full expression of this pose. Maybe just hooking thumb and pinky together will be as far as you can go. That's fine. Or like I say, just backs of the hands is fine. And reaching fingertips to the sky, elbows lift. See if you can lift your elbows as high as your shoulders or even higher. And notice where you feel the energy. Just send the breath into any areas that are tight or feel restricted. Big breath in. Maybe even taking a little bit of movement here, circling the arms, circling the elbows, maybe one way and then the other. And for some of you, if this posture feels really not available to you, you can just give yourself a hug and try to walk your fingers toward one another behind you. And when you're ready, unraveling your arms, shake them out. And arms again, reach to the sky, reach through the left fingertips and the right fingertips. And this time, you're going to nestle the elbows inside one another, the right elbow on top, left elbow underneath. And then if you can, either wrap your wrists or just bring the backs of the hands to one another. Palms face out. Your thumbs want to face toward you. And lift the elbows to shoulder height or higher if you can. Try to keep the fingers straight up toward the sky so that you've got a long line of energy moving through your arms, and then find your circles. Maybe your exploration will take you to elbows reaching out, wrists reaching out. Just see if you can bring this posture to the place where you find the juice in it. The juice is that place where you feel that sensation and aliveness and you want to go, oh yeah, I feel that. Breathe into that, lots of deep breaths. You can massage any tight areas with your breath by sending it there. And releasing when you're ready, unwinding your arms. And maybe you want to give your shoulders another roll one way and then the other. And just take a moment to notice how you feel. And here, our next practice will be coming into the goddess pose. So again, you want to be toward the very front edge of your chair and walk your feet as wide as they can comfortably go. So the outside edge of your thighs are reaching back behind you. And you might feel a little stretch in the inner thighs. Your toes are going to be turned out about 45 degrees. And again, touch into that long and lengthened spine, that tailbone rooting right down into the earth, the crown of the head lifting to the sky, shoulders roll down and back, and the heart open. And this is your goddess pose. The goddess pose actually has the arms like this, and we're going to get to that in a minute. The first thing we're going to warm up into it, but just bringing your hands gently to your thighs and finding some torso circles. Just beginning to bring some energy into the middle region of the torso. Finding your full range of motion, rolling around in big circles. And then roll the other way. Big wide circles. Don't forget to breathe deeply here. In and out through the nose. And then coming to sit centered on your sit bones. Again, elongate through your spine and bring your hands to goddess arms. You can have your palms facing out or you can have them facing toward you, but you want your elbows to be shoulder height and draw them back just a little bit so you've got a wide open heart. And you want to keep the legs energized so that the outside edge of your thighs are drawing open. You can feel that stretch, that opening in the hips, stretch in the inner thighs, opening in the heart. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. In through the nose and out through the nose. Soften the shoulders. Notice if you're going into scrunchasana here. In through the nose, out through the nose. And we're also going to take a goddess breath. This is known as the Kali breath. Kali is the name of one of the goddesses. And it clears out any stuck energy in the throat area. So take a deep breath in and stick out the tongue and go. Beautiful. Now open up your arms wide, big wide embrace. So this is the mother goddess embracing us all. There's all kinds of goddesses in the world. We have goddesses of compassion and love. We have fierce goddesses. We have goddesses of abundance, goddesses of creativity. So invite in the goddess of your choice, maybe just the Mother Earth, Mama Gaia. Whatever she is to you, open those arms nice and wide, and then exhale, crossing right arm underneath. Give yourself a big embrace, as if that Mother Goddess is hugging you. Inhale, opening wide, big breath in, and exhale, embrace the other way, left arm underneath. Let that goddess give you a big hug, holding you in her embrace. And then opening arms wide one more time, coming into your goddess pose for one more deep breath in. And let's take that Kali breath again. Exhale through the mouth, stick out your tongue. Make it nice and fierce and loud. Beautiful. Bring your hands to your thighs, just to your inner thighs here. And let your right arm straighten. Your left arm stays bent, and press into your right thigh. And let that right shoulder drop down. Let the left shoulder roll open and look at the sky. So we come into a twist. And back to center. And straighten the left arm. Drop that shoulder. Take it into a twist. And look over your right shoulder. Right elbow is bent. So you're just going to press firmly into your left thigh. Straight arm. Look up. And release. Come back to center. And you can bring the legs together. Now we're going to take it into some standing poses for those of you who are able. And you can use the support of the chair to hold on if you need to. First, let's come to standing behind your chair. We're going to come into the downward facing dog pose. So if you come to the back of your chair, and I'll move my chair up a little bit here. Come to the back of your chair and just hold on gently to the chair back. We're going to walk back until your whole torso and arms are a long straight line. And I'm going to turn sideways for a moment just so that you can see how this looks from the side. So you want to reach your sitting bones back. Your feet are going to be about hip width apart, pointing straight ahead. And you're going to let that heart sink down. You don't have to grip the chair very hard. You can just hold on gently, gently pressing with your palms into the chair. And breathe. Let the heart sink down. You should feel this as a stretch in the shoulders. Feel this as a stretch in the hamstrings. You definitely will feel some energy along the backs of the legs. I also invite you to draw your navel in and up to support your spine a little bit in this pose. This is called Uddiyana Bandha, when we engage the abdominal muscles, just a little navel lift. And keep reaching back with your tailbone, with your sitting bones. If you need to have a little bend in your knees, if you have very tight hamstrings, you can do that. Otherwise, try to let the legs come as straight as they're comfortable, as straight as is comfortable for you. Long arms, let the heart sink down. And when you're ready to release, slowly bend the knees a little bit, press into the chair, and walk back to standing. And just take a moment to notice all of the energy that you've invited into your upper back, your arms, your shoulders, backs of the legs. And while we're standing here, we'll take it into another standing pose, the Warrior One pose. So for here, I'm going to invite you to step back with your right foot. You're going to bring your left foot forward a little bit so it's even under the chair, the front of your foot under the chair. And step about a leg length back with your right foot. And bring your right foot flat and just turn your right toes out just a little bit so that you're in a, I'm going to move my chair so you can see how it looks from your angle. Turning your toes out just slightly. And bring your two pointer bones at the front of your hips to face straight forward. And if you need to, the chair is there for you to hold on with your hands. You're going to root the tailbone straight down into the earth. Lengthen up through your spine, just like we did when we were sitting. Roll the shoulders down and back. Now you might find a stretch here in the right leg, especially in the front of the hip there. The hip flexor gets a nice stretch. Also, the leg that is bent is strengthening. You're going to feel some energy there. You want your knee right over your ankle, so your lower leg is straight up and down. So it looks like this. And bring those two hip pointers, the headlights of your hips, straight forward. And if it's available to you, you can either reach one arm to the sky, finding some length through the side body, or if you have your balance, you can reach both hands to the sky, coming into either an open, wide open arms like you're a warrior celebrating your victory, or maybe you want to invite in a little bit of fierceness here so you can interlace your fingers, point your fingers to the sky like a sword-like fierce warrior. Maybe you want to invite in that Shakti warrior or goddess warrior. You can come into goddess arms, or maybe you want to have prayerful warrior, palms joined at the third eye or at the heart. So find the kind of warrior that you want to invite in. And if it's available to you, you can bring your hands back behind you and interlace your fingers and take that yoga mudra, opening up the window in the center of your chest, and let the spirits fly in and out. And then releasing the hands when you're ready, stepping back up. Let's take one more down dog before we do the other side. So walk your legs back and let the heart sink down toward the mat, reaching the sitting bones back, little navel lift in and up. See if you can spread your sit bones apart from one another. Big breath in, sink the heart down, release and let go. Long arms. One more breath here. And press into the back of the chair to rise up and come to standing. We'll step back with the left foot about a length of one of your legs. Turn the left heel inward, just 45 degrees. Your foot is flat. Square your hips, because when we practice warrior pose, this is called Warrior One. When you practice Warrior One, it's about inviting in that sense of courage and determination, fortitude and focus. So you want to have those hips straight ahead, because it's about facing whatever your challenges are, head on. So either take your warrior as a fierce warrior, a celebrative warrior, goddess warrior, prayerful warrior, whatever calls to you, courageous warrior. Breathe into that, root that tailbone down. Maybe bring the pubic bone forward a little bit so you can flatten through the low back. So rather than having an arched low back, you're going to be nice and long in the lower back area. If you need to hold on to your chair, that's absolutely fine. You can still practice all those warrior qualities of courage and focus and strength and fortitude as you're hanging on. Let the other arm lift up. If you can release one hand. Beautiful. And then as you're ready, step the back foot up, come back into standing. And we'll take it into a balance practice now. So come to the side of your chair, and you can hold on just lightly with one fingertip. You don't need to grip. Usually we find that we don't really need to hold on very tight, just to have a little support for our balance. And I'm going to invite you to come into the tree pose. The tree pose, you want to start with your feet hip width apart, toes pointed straight ahead. Once again, rooting the tailbone down, lifting long through the spine, up through the crown of your head. You're going to focus your gaze on a spot in front of you, a few feet, where you can anchor your attention. And there's many ways to come into tree. If it's available, you can bring the sole of your foot to the inside of your thigh or to the inside of your calf. There's a lovely curve in the calf that fits perfectly the arch of the bottom of the foot. Or if you need to, you can just bring your tippy toes down, which is the sapling pose. The important thing with tree is that you want to have the knee as much as you can go straight out to the side rather than at an angle. So try to have your knee as far straight out to, in this case, your right side as you can, and firm up the standing leg so that you really feel it firm like the trunk of a tree. Lift the kneecap, engage the quadricep, and if your foot is pressing the inside of your leg, press it firmly, and that will help give you that nice open hip practice here. And if it's available for you to have both hands to let go and bring both hands to your heart, you can do that. Or you can do what they say in Zen, make the sound of one hand clapping. There's a Zen koan that says, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Well, this is it. If it's available to you, have hands to the sky, branches to the sky, you can take that. Whatever's available, and if you need to hold on, that's absolutely fine. One more deep breath here. And releasing when you're ready, your tree pose. You can shake out the standing leg. And then we'll come to the other side. You can try it on the other side. First, finding feet hip width apart. This is called the mountain pose right here. Just standing at the ready, standing steady and comfortable, alert and fully alive. Hands can gently support yourself on the chair as you find your access to tree pose, either the sapling, foot to calf, foot to thigh. Let that knee come straight out to the side. Press firmly into the standing leg. Activate the standing leg. Root the tailbone straight down. And either bring your hands to prayer or make the sound of one hand clapping. Or branches to the sky if that's available to you. Slow, steady, and comfortable breathing. In and out through the nose, anchoring your gaze at a spot on the floor in front of you, a few feet. And when you're ready, you can release the tree pose and shake out the standing leg. And you can come back to sit in your chair. We're going to work the core a little bit more now with some leg lifts. So again, find your sit bones to the front edge of your chairs. Your knees are going to be in line with those two hip pointers here. So your feet stay hip width apart. And just gently hold on to the edges of your chair for support. We'll start with some alternating leg lifts, coordinating with breath. So you're going to breathe in and out of the nose. So inhale, lift one leg. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift the other leg. Exhale, lower it down. And we're going to move side to side with breath. And notice what muscles, notice where you feel the muscles of your core engaging here as you lift and lower with control, nice and slow. So we always let the breath move the body. So you want to bring the breath and the movement together in one flow. Breath, movement, and attention. So you can feel the muscles in the abdomen, in the core, activating and engaging to support you as you lift and lower. Notice if you're clenching with your fists or your arms are getting really tight, and see if you can just relax there. Only using the muscles that you need here. Lifting on the inhale, lowering on the exhale. Breathing in and out through the nose. And notice if there's any muscles in the jaw or around the brow, any of the facial muscles that are getting tight, or if your shoulders are tensing up, and see if you can relax anything that isn't needed here. And now we're going to take it into straight legs, so lifting the right leg, extending out on the exhale, straight out. Inhale, draw the thigh in toward your ribs. Exhale, lower down, the foot to the floor. Other side, inhale, left thigh comes up toward your ribs. Exhale, press out. See if you can keep your spine long so you're not going into slouching when you do this. Draw the thigh in on the inhale and release. Other side, draw in on the inhale, press out, straight out on the exhale. Inhale, draw in, exhale, lower down. Inhale, draw in, exhale, press out. Inhale, draw in, exhale, lower down. Each time you lower down, there's an opportunity to once again recommit to that long and lifted spine and open heart. Let's do 2 more each side. Draw in, press out, draw in, and lower down. And last round, right draws in, right foot presses out, keep that foot flexed. Draw in and release. And left side, thigh draws in, press out nice and long. Draw it in on the inhale and let go. Beautiful. You can shake out your legs, maybe give the thighs a little pat down. Point and flex your feet. That pointing and flexing is good to activate the calf muscle and the ankles and stretch the bottoms of the feet. And let's take the strap. We'll do another hamstring stretch here. So take your strap or tie or whatever you have and hook the strap around the bottom of your right foot. and extend that leg long. Now what's important here is that you don't want the strap too long because that's going to encourage you to lean back, and you don't want to do that. You also don't want to be bending your elbow and pulling on the strap, because then you're using a lot of extra muscles and creating tension in the shoulders and arms that you don't need. So when you use the strap, you want to imagine that the strap is an extension of your fingers. So you want your shoulders to stay level with one another as you press out through this leg, and I can turn sideways so you can see here. So you don't want to be so close to your foot that it's going to cause you to round your back, but you don't want to be so far that you're going to be leaning back. So just find that sweet spot where your shoulders are level, your arm is straight, because we want a long line of energy to move through the arms, and you can have your legs straight. Now it might be that you need to bend your knee a little bit if your hamstring is tight. So just press out as straight as you can comfortably go with your leg. In breath and out breath. And on the out breath is where we give it a little bit of juice here. So you might want to soften, bend your knee a little bit on the inhale, and on the exhale give it a press. Press away. Keep that foot flexed, toes to the sky. Soften on the inhale. Exhale, press away. Lead with the heel, pressing away from you. And again, one more. And press away on the exhale. And you can release your strap. And just take a moment to pause in your yogic seat before going to the other side. And then we can try the other side, hooking your strap around your left foot. And find the appropriate length of strap for you, where your leg can be extended out, but it doesn't pull your shoulder forward or make your back round. You can stay nice and long and lifted in the spine, but you don't want the strap too long that you're going to be leaning back or bending your elbow. So, upright. Shoulders stacked beautifully over the hips. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. And let's take 3 deep breaths together. Inhale, maybe bending the knee just a little bit on that extended leg, and exhale, press into it. Inhale, soften the knee. Exhale, press it out. And again, breathing in and exhale, press into it. And let's just do one more breath for good luck. Or because we're enjoying it. And when you're ready to release, let go of the strap. And shake out your legs a little bit. Now we're going to come into the seated pigeon, which is a wonderful hip opener and glute stretch. I'm going to invite you to take your right thigh, draw it in toward your ribs, and then turn the knee out to the side. We're going to make a figure 4 with the legs. So you're going to place above your ankle to your left thigh. So you don't want to be pressing right on the ankle, because that will cause the foot to sickle, and you don't want to put pressure on the joint. So make that contact right above your ankle so your whole foot is past your left thigh. And long and upright, centered on your sitting bones. And just notice what sensation you feel here, just naturally just coming into this shape, the figure 4 shape. And if you want to juice it up a little bit, you can press your palm into the inside of your knee. Notice what that does, if that gives you a little more sensation. And if you want even more sensation, you can come down onto your forearms, leaning on your figure 4 legs. So you're leaning on your lower right leg. And maybe it would be available for you to just fold all the way over, letting your hands reach toward the floor. Letting the head hang down. You probably feel this in your glutes and in your hips here. And maybe going this far over might not be available to you, that's fine, because if you're feeling it just being up here, even if your knee is sticking all the way up, if you're feeling it, then you're getting benefit out of the pose. Okay? Beautiful. Let's stay here for just a couple more deep breaths, because this is a really wonderful hip opening pose. It also is very helpful for certain kinds of conditions like sciatica. And when you're ready, coming back up and unwinding. Notice the difference between one side and the other. Notice where you feel that prana or life energy. And we'll try it on the other side, making sure that your left foot is past your right thigh, so you're making contact above your ankle. And you might notice that one side feels very different than the other, because our bodies aren't symmetrical. So just notice if that's true for you. And if pressing your hand gives it a little bit more energy, notice what that does. And if the sensation is strong, the practice is to just bring your awareness there and breathe into it. In Kripalu Yoga, we have an acronym, BRFWA, BRFWA, which stands for breathe, relax, see if there's any areas of tension that you might be holding that you don't need to be holding. Feel, just notice the sensations that are coming alive in you. Watch, the W stands for watch or witness. Become the witness of what's happening. And allow. Just allow the sensations to move through you. It's just energy. And if it feels available for you to fold over your leg, you can take that. Breathing into it, let the head be loose. Any sounds that want to come out here is also wonderful. Releasing and letting go. And coming back up slowly. And releasing your figure 4 pose. And let's take it into, it's traditional in yoga to close with some twists, so let's take it into a closing twist. So once again, draw your right thigh up toward your ribs, and if you can, see if you can cross your lower leg over the opposite leg. Maybe you can even place your heel on your chair if that's available. You're going to wrap your left arm, the crook of the elbow, around your bent right leg, and your right hand can either come to the back of your chair or to the bottom of your chair. It might be easier on the back of your chair here. And you're going to hug that right thigh in, all the while lengthening up through your spine. Let the back of the neck be long. So lengthening up doesn't mean lifting your chin. Keep your chin level. And exhale, leading with your heart. Let the head follow the heart, looking behind you. I always say letting the head follow the heart is probably a good strategy for living our lives. Lead with your heart. Lifting up on the inhale, exhaling, deepening into the twist. One more deep breath in. Lift up and lengthen, root to crown. And exhale, deepen into the twist. release. We'll take it on the other side. So you're going to cross the left lower leg to the other side of your right thigh. Hug it in with your right hand. Left hand comes to your chair behind you. The back of the chair, lift up. On the inhale, exhale, lead with your heart and let the head follow. Looking over your left shoulder. Every inhale, you back off a little bit from the depth of the twist and find that length from the tailbone to the crown. And exhale, deepen into the twist. One more, lift up. And exhale. Release when you're ready. And once again, find your long spine, come to the front end of your chair with your knees in line with your hips. Turn the palms up on your thighs, relax your shoulders, let your heart spread wide open, and let your eyes close. And take a moment to notice what you've invited in as a result of your practice. And the final part of our practice is simply being still. And as the palms are turned up, you've come into that physical gesture of receptivity. All of the life force, all of the prana that you've invited in, we now allow to integrate into all of the nooks and crannies of our being. With long, slow, deep breaths, inviting that prana to come streaming into every cell, every organ, every muscle, even into your bones. Nothing to do here but simply receive. And notice what's alive in you. Peace to all, love to all, light to all, joy to all, health to all, wealth to all, strength to all, grace to all. Peace to all, love to all, light to all, joy to all, health to all, wealth to all, strength to all, grace to all. I invite you to bring your palms together in front of the heart. Perhaps once again touching into that intention that you invited in at the beginning of your practice. And once again to send that intention out in all directions and to close our practice, seal our practice. Let's share together the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Thank you, everyone. I'll close with the salutation Namaste, which means the light in me sees and bows to the light in you. Namaste.